Greetings, I'm Eliza, and here is an overview for the month of December. So I've made this handy chart, which I'm going to use as my guide, where I've pulled all the cards and I've color-coded them based on whether they're cups or swords or trumps or discs and so on. So let's talk about some key astrological things. In the beginning of the month, we have Venus in Sagittarius and Pluto in Aquarius, which is going to encourage togetherness, which fits with the first card of the day, of the month, I should say, is the Ace of Cups. So we're going to be opening our heart for the potential of new emotions. Then on the second, I have the Hierophant, which is really about kind of tapping into your inner talents, the practicality of how you can move things forward, kind of really it's the sign of Taurus, so it's really getting things done. So this is also on December 3rd now. We have Works, where we're going to start to use that energy of the Hierophant to really push things ahead. And then we have that openness again of new possibilities and new beginnings, opening our heart with the Princess of Cups. When we get to the the full moon, which will be on the 5th of December, we have the Princess of Discs, and she is a powerful princess. She's the lowest of the princesses on the entire deck, but she brings us right back to the beginning and holds the seed of life. So this day we're going to have a feeling of openness in communication because it's a full moon in Gemini. So that combined with this, we're going to start to really build our relationships, healing our issues in our home and family. And then we're going to wrap up that first week with this card, which is Strength, the Nine of Wands. So we're going to really have some strong energy, which begins Mercury in Scorpio, Jupiter in Cancer, and Saturn in Pisces on this day, which is going to form a trine. Great things can be achieved. So we're going to use that strength to really push things ahead. And the next day, on that Sunday, the 7th, we have the Wealth card. So we're going to start to really manifest the things that we want to shift and change, both in the physical plane, in sort of our overall life path, which brings us to that Monday, the 8th, we have the Sun, which is really strong manifestation. Now, just recognize that there might be a little bit of resistance to this openness. So just recognize that not everything's going to go as smoothly as we want, but it's going to start to move ahead. So now, after the Sun, we have Virtue, which is nice, stable energy. This is for the 9th. Then we have the Ace of Discs on the 10th. This is about really starting to bring that financial success our way, move things ahead on the practical plane. This is also when Mercury is going to enter Sagittarius. We're going to start to feel a little bit of restlessness. There may be some sudden changes, which is bring us to the next day, the Knight of Swords, which is really about cutting through the obstacles and moving things ahead. Now for the 12th, we've got the Prince of Cups. And this is kind of getting into our feelings a little bit as we're getting ready for the big transformation at the end of the week. The Death card has nothing to do with physical death, as I say every time, but it's all about that big change. So remember, we're leading up to the end of the year, which is a time when we all naturally reflect upon the things that are happening in our lives. What do we want to change? What do we want to bring into our life further and expand? This is all that time for that reflection. So hence, that's why the energy is really pushing us to make those decisive decisions. Now, we start that second full week of December, or the 14th, that Sunday, with the 10 of Wands, oppression. It's just a low energy day. Maybe things aren't going to go quite as fast as we want. So we take a little bit step back. We have here the Chariot. So we're just going to be a little bit more cautious and take some self-care. which is a perfect thing for this day because astrologically, that's also what you're going to need to do. So you're just going to feel like you want to move ahead, but you want to be protective at the same time. That energy may lead the next day to a little bit of disappointment. It's just kind of a day. It's not very major. And then when we get to the 17th, we have a very big card. This is the universe. This is also when the sun will square with Saturn astrologically. So it's a real time that's pushing us to not only manifest, but take responsibility for what we want. Actually do it. Don't just say this is what we want. Actually make it happen. Moving on, then we're going to have a little bit of conflict, a little bit of frustration. Then we're going to have the fire and energy to push ahead with the Princess of Wands. And we wrap up that week on the 20th, which is also the new moon in Sagittarius with the Magus, which is a magician. So it's about really being open and excited about new possibilities. Now we're moving into that last full week of December, starting on the 21st, which happens to be the winter solstice, and we have the Empress, which is fitting. It's about really taking that nurturing earth energy, right? This motherhood, and it's also going to really push us to start to take those dreams into reality and recognize that we are responsible for our own happiness. Which brings us now to Satiety, which is where we're going to be a little bit bummed out, but not overly so. Just kind of recognize I'm the one that has to do it. It's not going to just come to me on a platter. No, you're responsible for your own happiness. Then you're going to really start to push ahead. Now you've got some energy leading up to Christmas here. This is the 23rd with the Two of Wands. This is the potential of tremendous energy moving towards. And then on the Christmas Eve, we have the Knight of Discs. This is a pensive thinking through where do you want to move ahead. Venus is also in Capricorn, squaring with Neptune. You're going to have a deep longing here. You're going to really be thinking, what do I want for my life? And that's the energy of Christmas Eve, which makes sense when you have family around. Now, here's an important thing. Do not project your wishes on the situation. See things clearly. That's what the overall energy of the whole month is. See things as they are, good and bad. Now, that brings us to Christmas Day. We have the Wheel of Fortune, which is good luck and positivity, maybe some great presents in store. But that energy can't sustain itself, so the next day we have the card of defeat, which is really just getting into our head, low energy, kind of pulling back. It's not major. And then we wrap up that week with the Prince of Swords, where we're kind of overthinking and we're trying to figure out what we want to do. What are we really going to commit to? Which brings us to the 28th, which is an intense day. I pulled the Tower card, which is also the card that I pulled for Thanksgiving. It is also astrologically Mercury and Chiron trine, which supports healing, but choose your words carefully because there could be some tension. And then that's going to kind of bring us into a low energy before we go through a rebirth in January. We're going to have this in our head, overthinking, interference, feeling a little blocked of where we want to go forward, a little sorrow, maybe realizing the shifts that we have to make to achieve what we want. And then again, getting into our head and feeling frustrated. This will be New Year's Eve. So a little bit of low energy at the end of the month, but it's going to shift. And this is an opportunity for you to really think about what it is you want to achieve for the coming year. Not everything will be specific to you, just like you may not have had a bad Thanksgiving, even though I pulled the Tower, but the energy is still there, pushing us to shift and pushing us to change. Have a great time. I will talk to you soon.